Hello all. Namaskar, good evening, and a very warm welcome to everyone from Melbourne. SPIC MACAY Australia chapter is thrilled to bring to you the infinite mystery of sound. My name is Vedashri, and along with Navjot, I'll be the MC of the evening. For those new to SPIC MACAY stands for Society for the Promotion of Indian Classical Music, Arts, and Culture amongst Youth. SPIC MACAY is a non-political, nationwide, and a voluntary movement founded in 1977 by Padma Shri Dr. Kiran Seth, Professor Emeritus at IIT Delhi. SPIC MACAY promotes intangible aspects of Indian cultural heritage by promoting the traditional arts such as Indian classical music, classical dance, folk music, yoga, meditation, crafts, and other aspects of Indian culture. It is a global movement with chapters in over 300 towns all over the world. SPIC MACAY's vision is to help every child experience inspiration and mysticism embodied in Indian and world cultural heritage. We hope that you'll have a wonderful experience with us tonight as we walk a step closer to actualizing this vision. We are thrilled to bring to you all this spectacular evening with celebrated Rudra Veena virtuoso, Ustad Bahauddin Dagar. We are truly blessed to have Ustad ji with us this evening. Thank you so much, Ustad ji, for joining us. We would also like to express our gratitude for our sponsors for making this event happen. The sponsors for this event are Able Accounting and Taxation Services, Melbourne Hindustani Classical Music Society, Sharda Kala Kendra, Sindhu Bhairavi, and First Step Loans. We would also like to thank High Commission of India in Canberra, Consulate General of India in Melbourne and in Sydney for their collaboration in promoting this event. Now, I take the opportunity to introduce you to the course of the program today. We will begin with a performance by Ustad Bahauddin Dagar, followed by an interaction session between Ustad ji and students. But before we begin, we would like to play a video message from a very special guest, Mr. Manpreet Vohra, Honorable High Commissioner of India to Australia. I would like to introduce High Commissioner in short. Ambassador Manpreet Vohra arrived in Canberra in April 2021 to assume his assignment. He joined the Indian Foreign Service in 1988. He has held numerous positions overseas and was Ambassador of India to Mexico, and High Commissioner to Belize, Ambassador to Afghanistan, and Ambassador to Peru and Bolivia, Deputy High Commissioner in Pakistan and in Nairobi. He also served in various capacities at the Indian missions in Hong Kong, China, Mongolia, and United Kingdom. Can we play the video, please?
Namaste. Good evening. I'm delighted that this beautiful evening of Indian classical music is about to begin. It is an event that we have been eagerly awaiting for some days. Thank you, SPIC MACAY Australia Asia Pacific Chapter, for bringing this to us. And thank you, Ustad Bahauddin Dagar Sahab, for your time today. Your concert, I have no doubt, will be a joyful and enriching experience for all of us here in Australia. Music holds a special primacy in Indian culture and traditions. In our mythology, every god or goddess is associated with a musical instrument and musical prowess. That is the level to which we have elevated the art of music. It has always received special patronage from kingdoms and the state to patrons and the public. That is the reason why Indian classical music has survived and flourished to this day, and why we respect and revere our great musicians. Continuing any tradition or art form always remains a challenge, of course, and particularly more so in modern times of globalization and cross-cultural influences, which also vie for our time and attention, and particularly of our youth. It is a challenge that organizations like SPIC MACAY have taken up squarely and have met successfully. I applaud the passion and the hard work of SPIC MACAY volunteers. Tonight is the result of another such impressive effort. Ustad Bahauddin Ji Dagar is among our foremost musicians, a guru of incredible talent and a Sangeet Natak Akademi awardee, India's highest accolade for performing artists. The Rudra Veena that he will play for us in his unique Dagarbani style is an instrument that is at least 500 years old, and perhaps much longer than that. There was a period when it was almost lost, and its resurgence actually owes a lot to Ustad Bahauddin Ji's illustrious father, Ustad Zia Mohinuddin Dagar Sahab. Let us enjoy this wonderful treat tonight. Thank you again, Ustad Bahauddin Ji, for playing for us and for the interaction with you later. From all the way in Australia, I must say that all of us feel truly blessed. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you for sending the message through, sir. Those are indeed some encouraging words. Now I would like to request Navjot to help out with the next section of the program. Over to you, Navjot.
Thank you so much, Pechri. Namaste everyone, my name is Navjot Singh Rajput, and now I would like to invite our chairperson of SPIC MACAY to express her words of encouragement. So please welcome Ms. Rashmi Malik ji.
Thank you, Navjot. I'm not the chairperson of SPIC MACAY. I chair the SPIC MACAY Foundation, but that's all right. I'm happy to be addressed whichever way. And I must thank Ambassador Vora for such kind and lovely words. I really request him to come forward and help SPIC MACAY's Asia Pacific chapter to move a little forward. Any help from him will take us a long way in meeting our vision of reaching out to every youth, not really in India, all over the world. I also take this opportunity to thank Asia Pacific chapter for organizing this beautiful concert. I know it's very difficult, especially in current times, to organize a concert of this nature. It really is worthy of a lot of praise. You people are very fortunate to listen to a great maestro today. While Ambassador said almost everything that I could have said about Ustad Ji, but I'd just like to add a little bit more, that he is, of course, coming from a very illustrious lineage. He is the 21st generation musician of unbroken chain of Drupad and Rudra Veena music. So I must congratulate you all once again for having him here, and I hope that very soon we can have live concerts. both in Australia and other parts of the world and in India. So, all the best to you for organizing this, and I'm looking forward to the concert. Thank you so much.
So before we start, please allow me to introduce our great artist who is going to mesmerize us with his music today, Ustad Bahauddin Dagarji. He is the son of legendary Rudra Veena maestro Ustad Zia Mohyuddin Dagarji, who introduced him to Rudra Veena and trained him along with his uncle Ustad Zia Faridin Dagarji, who is a renowned Indian classical vocalist. Ustad Bahauddin Ji is a unique artist who has played for diverse and varied audiences not just in India but across the world. His music has been recorded by Music Today India, Makars France, Ragini Sutra India, Sense World London, and India Music Archives USA. He has been tirelessly promoting Rudra Veena among the youth. So please welcome Ustad Bahauddin Tagarji. Welcome Ustad Ji.
Thank you. Namaste.
So, Ustadji, we all viewers are very keen to understand your inspiration behind learning the music and specifically Rudra Veena.
So the inspiration was always at home because you see, I was born and brought up in an atmosphere that was full of music all the time. And besides this, my maternal uncle introduced me to painting and architecture and all those kinds of things. My mother was teaching at home all the time, tuitions to just beginners and learners and kind of people who just came for kind of hobby. So that was going on at home. Besides this, there were students of my uncle, my father, Ustad Zia Mohyuddin Dagar, coming home. And we had also very much uh, baithaks happening at home every Sunday or every once a month. So somehow, because I was uh, in that field all the time, I think my years were already spent when I was small, and I was totally into it. I had no escape from that. And as I grew into 16, I and uh, it was a time by the time I discovered a whole lot of music, right from pop, jazz, bebop, rock, Western classical, Indian classical, Russian, Japanese, this that, and I was like really. I mean, I had decided that I would want to do music, so I finally asked my father that I would like to learn music, and he told me that okay, fine. Then I asked him what should I do? Should I learn vocal or accompaniment or veena? And he told me that you should play the veena, and that's how my journey began slowly, not on a very serious note, but I had decided, and I started slowly playing the veena. It was between 1986 and 1990. It was a very condensed kind of a very impactful kind of life I had. The first thing was in '86, I had been with my father for the Festival of India to play Tanpura behind him. So 3.5 months, 4 months, there was a lot of discussion about the music, how the artist, how to look uh, beyond the genre Drupad, how to look at just something of art as just like something in which you can enjoy life. It is not how to not to relate it to concerts, to platforms, to you know, and how to keep away from the things such as mm, you don't want to be looking at yourself as a master. You want to be looking at yourself as a learner, and you want to be looking at rediscovering the art form. So all these values were taught along with the music. And once my father passed away in 1990, It was then I really thought, okay, now this is what I'll do. So I was studying second year BA at St. Xavier's and I stopped my education and I completely started doing this work. And my very first concert, in fact, was a SPIC MACAY concert in 1991 at Elphinstone College. And that's where my journey into music began. I'm still
So nice,
inspired a
Ustad
lot by
ji.
whatever both my ustads have told all over the years.
That's very nice, Ustad ji. And we would also appreciate you that if you could please explain about Rudra Veena, as it is a very unique instrument and the queen of all the string instruments.
Yeah, so basically, a string instrument is called a veena. So the sliding ones which you slide with the left hand are called uh, like the sarod, or the rabab. These are called like gharshani veenas. The ones which have 100 strings like the santur are called shatatantriya veenas. The ones which are played with bows like sarangi or violin are called gajavina. And Rudra Veena, and then you have the South Indian Veena, which is called Ekakandi Veena, and the North Indian Veena, which is called the Rudra Veena. So, uh, like it was mentioned just before now, that the Veena is not more than 700 to 800 years old, you can say maybe between 500 and 800 years. Before that, there was the Matangi Veena. Before that, there was another Kinnari Veena. So Veena has evolved. What you see in 276 BC on this gold coin of Samudragupta Maurya is a harp like seven-string instrument without pegs. The tension of the wire was pulled through the holes and the tuning was done accordingly. And that evolved over time. And I think as classical, because uh, before a certain period, we didn't have classical music. And as classical music came into, people started forming the notes and they started researching on those notes and rediscovering uh, combination permutations of making new rags. So like 3 notes, 4 notes, 4 notes, 3 notes, like going up 3 notes, going back 4 notes. So various combinations, if you do, you can maybe go up to 6.5 lakh possibilities mathematically. So I think as these things evolved, we mm, the instruments also evolved, and they found that the instrument like the veena was the simplest in its form, yet it could very easily encompass on and describe and bring to your notice very clearly all the augmented and the diminished notes. So they used this instrument to understand in classical music better. So the word for the instrument became like not a matra, a measure. And whoever made it, we don't know, because the Indian ethics and culture, they say when they make something, uh, they they generally say that it was given to me by a certain god. So in this case, whoever made the veena was a worshipper of Lord Shiva, and he said that Lord Shiva made this instrument. It is a mythological statement, but for all the practitioners of the veena, we do believe that it is an instrument of the Shiva. So Rudra stands in one way for Shiva and his veena. Rudra also stands for the word in Sanskrit. Rudra means that which takes you towards refinement. And so bringing in all the smallest nuances in the veena is refining a certain genre, refining how your voice can be uh, uh, changed, refining what to incorporate into your voice. This is what the veena helped out with. Basically, the vocalists were taught Rudra Veena so they could uh, clearly understand the placement of the notes, and then they would bring it back into the singing. So if you look at the body of the veena, it comes under the zither stick instrument. It is long stem and 2 gourds. So they say that the long stem is the outstretched hand of goddess Parvati. Then he took her broken bangles and he put 7 frets. Then he broke 7 long strands of his hair and he put the 7 strings. To place the 7 strings and to tie them, he put 7 pegs. That stands for the Saptarishi, or the constellation of 7 stars. The 7 sages from which all our Gotras are there. Then on the right hand side, they put a peacock, which is the vehicle of goddess Saraswati. They placed a bridge on it, which gives a tonal quality, which is goddess Saraswati herself. And each of the resonators, which were the breast of Parvati, are Brahma and Vishnu. And there is an opening behind, at the bottom of those resonators. That is the Nabhi Kamal. So the opening of the navel and the navel opening and the realization of the world through this instrument. So this is what the Rudra Veena is. And obviously the practitioners were very few in the beginning. They choose people who would not sell their art, who would be very loyal to this art form. And also at the same time, these people were mostly, they were like saints or they were Sufis. They were not people who were commonly living in the society. So in that manner, there were very few Rudra Veena players. And there were very good Rudra Veena players, but there were always very few Rudra Veena players. And this is what the Rudra Veena is now.
Wow, thank you so much, Ustad ji. And before we had our performance, could you please uh, tell our all viewers that which rag are you going to perform today and what is the motivation behind that rag?
See, motivation is, there is actually no motivation. It is, I think, when the climates change, because the music has been connected to nature, there is an indication of what the rag should be. So, we're playing Puriya, and in that, the long portion, uh, elaboration of the first parts called Alap, where you stretch the note, you stretch an imagination, and you create different phrases and try to keep on saying different newer phrases. Then you join that with the Jod, which is uh, not a circular beat, but it's like a pulse, which is the Alap is pulse in a time, and you play that. And then the Jhala is a faster version, and then a composition. I'll be playing in 12 beats. It's a composition Parvati Nath Shiva from Rag Purya.
Wow, thank you so much, Ustad ji, for giving us this information. And so before we start our performance, I would like to thank all our sponsors on behalf of SPIC MACAY. Now please welcome Ustad Bahauddin Dagar ji. Thank you.
draw to a,
Thank you so much, Ustad ji. This rag perfectly justifies our today's theme of Speak Make It, its infinite mystery of sound, going right through our ears to mind and giving goosebumps to our viewers. Now, we will proceed towards our question and answer session with our lovely students. So, I would like to invite Vedshri to please continue with the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Navjot. How's everyone feeling? Wasn't that just a fabulous performance? I'm actually quite speechless. Thank you so much, Ustadji. Really cannot thank you enough for this experience. This was such a spiritual performance and experience that we all had. I'm sure that our students who have been eagerly waiting to ask their questions are probably even more thrilled now that they have watched this performance. So with your permission, I would like to proceed with the question and answer session. Should we start, Ustadji?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay. So first on the list, we've got Akanksha. Students, I'll just call your name and one by one, and please introduce yourself before you ask your question.
Ask questions.
Do we have Akanksha?
Hello, Ustadji. My name is Akanksha. I am 11 years old in grade 5 at St. Peter's Apostle. I study Hindustani classical from my guru Pratima Shankar. My question to you is, my sizes on the importance of regular practice. At your level of expertise, is Riyaz still very important?
See, in the beginning, Riyaz is a very physical thing. You have to learn to sit for long hours together. So that's why hours of Riyaz is very necessary in the beginning. And also it means you understand your craft very well. But as time passes by, then the Riyaz, that physical Riyaz becomes less. It becomes like 2 hours or 3 hours at maximum in a day, or just 2 hours. But you have to spend an entire day thinking about the kind of work you're doing, and what would you like to do within that work. How would you like to make something new within that work, and how would you like to put forth new phrases. So you spend a whole day thinking about it. So the general norm is that you learn so much, you practice so much, and you think about the work the size of the room. So it changes with time, and sometimes it is possible for many days you would not touch your instrument, or and then you would get back to it, because then it's like you empty yourself and then you again get back to your riyaz. So yes, every day some amount of riyaz is good if you have an instrument, because then the instrument sound keeps open also, and it feels cared for. So that's very important. And then you have to spend time where people usually say that, oh, it looks like a leisure time where you're sitting quietly and doing nothing, and like staring like sheep and cows. But actually in the mind you keep on thinking about how you want to produce that work and how you want to look at that work. So I hope that answers it.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Ustadji. The next one, we've got Shruti. Go ahead.
Namaste, Ustadji.
Namaste.
My name is Shruti Metali. I am 11 years old and I'm in grade 5 at my school, Hita Christian College. And I have been learning Hindustani classical vocal from my teacher, Pratima Shankar, for more than 3 years. The question I'll ask you today has 2 parts. Firstly, are the compositions played on Rudra Veena vastly different than what we hear from vocalists? And secondly, are there any ragas which are better for the tonal qualities of the Rudra Veena, but which you might not hear in a vocal recital?
The compositions, usually we don't play what the vocalists sing, because if you play it on the veena, there are no words to it. But today I have played a composition which was in Rag Purya. It's called Parvati Nath Shiva. And sometimes I will play a composition when I'm with an accompanying vocalist, because I think it makes more sense then. Uh, uh, and mm, so it's just a matter of decision at the time. What if I want to play something like a gut or something like a composition? And if the accompanist has been playing a lot with the vocalist, then I can use a composition from the vocal genre, I mean from the vocal aspect, and because he's played with that thing already before, and within the same style, if he's played a lot, then I can do that definitely. And as far as selection of ragas for an instrument is concerned, it is not. It is not entirely so that there are special ragas for voice and special ragas for vinas, but yes, there are preferences to ragas which you know better or which you have heard better on an instrument. You would want to do that. You feel, yeah, this sounds nice over there. But it is not a hard and strict rule. Only we decide personally. I mean, normally anything is possible.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Shruti. We have Prathna next. You're on mute.
Namaste,
That's
Namaste,
fine.
Ustadji. My name is Prarthana. I'm 14 years old and I've been doing Indian classical music for 2 years by Pratima Shankar. My question to you is, there are many different types of veena like Saraswati, Vichitra, and yourself being a legendary Rudra Veena player. Is it easy to pick up different types of instruments, or does the technique have similarities or drastic differences?
I think every instrument is unique. Even if you want to pick up the instrument, you will have to spend sitting and learning. What majorly happens between the Rudra Veena and the other instruments is a thing of speed. Because if you see the speed of an elephant or the speed of a tortoise, that's what a Rudra Veena is. If you look at sarod, sitar, these are like the deer. So your hand has to be supple, and to get there, you do a different kind of practice. And in Veena, control of the tonality, spaces, how to get from one space to another space, from one tone to another tone. So it's a different kind of a tayari you require for a veena. So yes, if I have to play something else like the sarod or the sitar, I would have to pay a lot of emphasis uh, on how it is done, because there are certain exercises meant for those kind of instruments. So yeah, the fretboard could be kind of same, you can say. It's not too long or too short, or there is a judgment on the of fretboard. If you played one instrument and you know that instrument, this ga and ma and pa and dha would be over here, that is there, because it's like becomes a little bigger, a little smaller, but still you have to put in hours of practice before you can really play that instrument.
Thank you for your answer.
Welcome.
Thank you, Staji. Very enlightening indeed. Next on the list, we've got Arnav.
Namaste, Ustadji.
Namaste.
My name is Arnav Mahajan. I am 14 years old. I'm in grade 8 and I study at Buchanan Secondary College. I've been learning Indian classical music, the sitar, for 2 years from my Guruji, Radhesham Gupta ji. My question to you is, when you improvise in your songs, in your rags, is there any feeling that you want the audience and maybe even yourself to feel? And is there something in your mind that you think of that helps guide you when you are playing?
See, basically, I'm within the Drupal genre. I'm following a framework, and I'm adhering to that framework. And within that framework, there's a way of improvising. So I'm not thinking about the feeling, because the rasa anubhuti, or the feeling has to arise in the listener. You cannot say that I'm feeling sad and so you have to feel sad, you know. So I have to play a particular thing, be slightly detached with it, and then the audience would know what it's like. So you don't enforce a certain kind of feeling, but you try to touch all the smallest nuances and the try to make it beautiful, try to make it, you know, articulate and those kind of things. And if you're very true to doing that, then I think the audience is going to generally have some kind of a feeling. Because if they talk about a single rag having a single ras, which is not entirely true. Because let's say that you are a person who is internally very quiet, and at the same time you're feeling very happy, so there are already two rasas there, you see. So which one will be portrayed at that time? You cannot, or if you're feeling sad, then you might portray that ras. So you cannot control, because in a way music is something, it is like what you call, it is an image, it is a mirror image of who you are and what you're feeling at that time. So even if I say this is something like that, but something, a deeper sense would come, a deeper sense of your feeling would be portrayed through the music, which is much more real than what you're talking. So we do not generally uh, concentrate on the way what we have to make the people feel about, but we concentrate on the way how truthfully we can say what we are saying, and if that conveys sad or happiness or whatever, it's absolutely fine.
Okay, thank you very much, Ustadji.
Welcome.
Okay. Can we go to Pradyum?
Namaste, Ustadji. My name is Pradyun. I study in grade 3. I learn Carnatic vocal. And my question is, why is Rudra Veena not very common to learn?
Rudra Veena has never been very common to learn, because I think when if you're learning Carnatic music, on the Saraswati Veena they're teaching earlier a lot of songs and all these things, but in the Rudra Veena they start directly with the alap. So they generally wait for somebody who is 16 years old or 17 years old, and then they introduce, because it requires a certain kind of maturity to begin directly with the alap. And yeah, I mean, the Rudra Veena players were much stricter earlier. They would not allow people to just come and learn. They would choose from a lot of students. That's why it was not very popular. But slowly this is changing, because a lot of new generation people want to come and learn. And I think we are much more students now than we had musicians earlier.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Ustadji. Thanks, Pradyun. Do we have Mahalakshmi?
Namaste, Ustadji. My name is Mahalakshmi. I'm a student from Sindhu Bhairavi Center for Arts and Culture. I'm overjoyed to meet you today. It would be grateful if you can answer me why children have to learn Rudra Veena among all these instruments. How will you persuade them?
Sorry, I can't. Could you repeat your question again? Why did I?
It would be grateful if you can answer me why children should learn the Rudra Veena among all these instruments.
I don't think there is a compulsion that they should learn the Rudra Veena. Anybody who wants to learn any instrument, they should learn that instrument. But I think it is important to be connected to music, because music is something which changes the way a human being thinks about life. He becomes compassionate. He has a lot of empathy and those kind of things. So, and Rudra Veena learning, I think, is actually a matter of choice. If you don't want to learn, you don't have to learn. Like for me, I didn't decide that I wanted to learn the Rudra Veena. My father told me you should learn the Rudra Veena, so I just accepted that.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Ustadji. Do we have Niyati? You can go next.
Namaste, Ustadji. My name is Niyati. I'm 14 years old and I learn Carnatic vocal music. My question to you is, why are there fewer women who play the Rudra Veena compared to men? Thank you.
When the British came into India, the entire outlook of looking at women changed because they came with a lot of soldiers, and what happened during that time, especially uh, uh, the way they looked at what we looked was very different. Because if we have something which belongs to the Shringar Ras, the erotic poetry or the romantic poetry, uh, it was considered a way of life and a way of understanding something more than a way of behavior. And I don't think the British really understood that. They just directly converted that thing into being something very bad or something which should not be done in the society. So that is one reason during the time, uh, since late 1700s, 1800s, women stopped going, becoming musicians, because uh, they were just objectified, which shouldn't have happened. But before the British came into India, there were quite a few people, women who were playing Rudra Veena. Also, even in music, mm, they discouraged women from doing any kind of music or doing a kind of dance, because if we see in dance, especially the Devdasis were looked down upon. But actually, before independence, the Devdasis were very much looked up to, because they were taking care of the temples, they were presenting their art to the god, they were pleasing the god. So there was certain stature that totally vanished because of a different kind of culture that infiltrated our country. So that's what changed everything, and that's why there were very less Rudra Veena players and women, and also musicians and dancers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Staji, for your answer. That's something that I can relate to because my Kathak dance teacher always talks about these things also. So thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
And do we have Santoshi? You can ask your question next.
Namaste, Ustadji. My name is Santoshi and I am 9 years old. I study in grade 3 and making in primary school. I have been learning Bharatanatyam for 4 years from my Guru Srimati Chintana Brijesh. My question for you are, what is the difference between Rudra Veena and Saraswati Veena, and why is Rudra Veena less popular?
So Rudra Veena is a North Indian instrument. It was made uh, to express khyal and dhrupad form of music. Saraswati Veena is the Ek Kandi Veena, which is made of one single piece of jackfruit, which was made to express the South Indian music. So Saraswati Veena has the frets are very low in height, so the sliding is much faster. So it can go quite quicker than the Rudra Veena. And the Rudra Veena, the frets are higher, so you pull a lot more notes because you require a lot more sustenance in the alap. You stand on one note for a long time, then you stretch another note. So Rudra Veena is more suited to that. Saraswati Veena, you can keep on striking again, like the language, so there are basically the South Indian, the way of singing in the olden style, in the olden time was called Vegaswara Giti, the notes which go in fast successions, the singing in which the notes go in quite rapid pace. So to adapt to that, the Saraswati Veena was made. And to adapt to the notes which were like long, means, long, uh, like even if you see in the architecture in South India, there are quick steps in the temples. In India, in North India, they are like long arches. So similarly, it was both the Svinas were made to adapt to the way of singing.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Ustadji. Rohan, you can go next.
Hi, Ustadji. Thanks so much for the comments. Really enjoyed Rag. My name is Rohan Bhattacharya. I'm 20 years old and I've been learning Sarod for around 6 years. My question to you is, I think you mentioned that you didn't really choose the Rudra Veena because your dad told you to play it. Was there ever a time that you didn't enjoy riyaz and practice, or did you fall in love with the instrument from the very beginning?
Even after falling in love with the instrument, there are times when you don't want to practice and you don't want to touch an instrument. It's normal. I mean, it's never a smooth straight curve. It's always up and it's down, and that you have to write that it's absolutely, you have to understand that it is completely normal, that at times I would not touch the veena for 2 months, 3 months, then I would just go on playing. So these periods of dull moments do happen, and it is like you have to look at every day at a time and not to worry and not to brood over. If you really love your work, you'll definitely get back to it, but not to worry about what you're not done. Just think about now and what you need to do right now. So yeah, it's quite possible you might not want to practice for some time. It's okay. It's not the end of the world.
Definitely. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Ustadji. Dhwanil, you can go next.
Namaste, Ustadji.
Namaste.
Thanks a lot for a great rendition. I'm Dhwanil Trivedi. I was learning vocal, Hindustani classical vocal from late Srimati Deepika Shomji, and for 3 years. And I've been learning tabla for about 4 years from Shri Pandurang Torviji. My question for you is basically for the Drupad tradition. So I sometimes I listen to the Sanskrit chantings and mantras, and I've read somewhere that the Drupad has its roots and origins from the Veda chantings. Can you please highlight the knowledge on that?
So yeah, basically this has been told quite a lot of times, but it is not directly from the Vedic. See, the chand, which is used for the Vedic chanting, a part of that chand was used to express the alap in the Drupad. So that's how they are related. It did not come from the Vedas, or because during the Vedic age there was no classical. It was the pre-classical music, where they use syllables like jantum, jagatiya, valita, kadigini, gitite, jala, kucha, jala, titicha, janchum, and it was played with a pakhavach, and it was played. So that concept of an entire free alap was not yet formed over there. But yes, from those chant, what came was the Prabandha Gaiki, which was an 8-fold system, and that got with the shed out 4 parts, and then it became Asthai Antara Abhog Sanchari, that came into the Drupad form, and then the Alap developed. So before the 8th century, there were some Drupas or Prabandhs which were sung in Sanskrit, and later on they changed into Braja Bhasha. So the roots are the same in a manner, but it is not directly out of the Vedas. So you cannot totally disconnect it from the Vedas, but you cannot say it came from there also. Because that entire process of thinking from 1500 BC to then and forward and moving, that entire movement is what gave rise to this. But there is no direct connection, you see. Because then you will ask me the question, do they sing the same thing now that is to sing before? And no, they would not be singing the same thing now that's singing before, because it evolved, it changed. Because when Braj Bhasha came, then the sensibility of half a note, half a syllable came into being. And then they wanted a language where you could use words like Jajman, and you could also say, for the same word, you could say Yajman. So Ja and Ya could be interchanged. So that loch or that all that bend, or all that what do you call loch? I don't know what. It's a kind of flexibility which was required to create abstraction in music. They changed that language to Braja Bhasha, and then kept into that, and maybe sometimes very rarely into Maithili and all that. So yes, there is a lineage of thought that can connect everything, but there is no proper proof of how that this came from. It directly came from that.
Thank you.
Because the chants have been the inspiration for, so like you say ra na ri na num na, so this is like the chant. So they are saying
Yes.
and there are various schools of chants and the various schools of reciting the Sanskrit shlokas. So because some in the north they're different, in center they're different, in south there are various schools.
Yeah.
So we'll have to source which school it came from, and that's very difficult to say.
So it's the chanda, is like a rhythm, like a flow.
Chand is a rhythm. So in that they have the small notes like the rasva, dirga, and pluit. So the small one, the one with the small oo, one with the big oo, one the small e, one with the big, and the one that ends up abruptly. So that has been adapted in the grammar in Dhrupad. Because it is language based. It has been adapted in the language, in the grammar in Dhrupad, and that's all that there is there. The raga development and all that is very different. It came much later.
Did it have influence from the folk music?
I think actually this chand was, I think, probably used in the folk music earlier, and then someone made a meter out of it, and someone named it, and then it got it into the Vedic scriptures or whatever shlokas they want to there, and from that they use some of them into the classical music. So basically, if you see, the old folk music in India has a lot of chand. If you go to Chhattisgarh, or if they use a lot of chand. They don't know what the chands are, because it's Uddhat, Anuddhat, and Swarit. So it's like a up and down, and then it just cuts it. So from that, the various chands have come. So it's quite a process. It's quite a complicated process. To some people, the chand basically came from the tribal forms and went into the Vedic thing. For some other, it came from the Vedic thing and progressed into everything. So people have various theories, and I think it's way too far back to actually cut into what is exactly true. But we accept the chand theory overall.
Okay. Thank you, Ustadji.
Thank you, Ustadji. Thank you so much for your patience in answering all the questions. I think we have concluded our question and answer sessions for today, but we would really like to sincerely thank you for your performance today. It was truly majestic, and I'm sure everybody has thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being with us again tonight.
Thank you.
Before proceeding to the next section, we do have a message from the Consul General of India in Sydney, Mr. Manish Gupta ji. So before we play the video, I would like to give a short introduction about Manish ji. Mr. Manish Gupta is a career diplomat and a member of the Indian Foreign Service since 1998. In the course of a diplomatic career spanning over 20 years, he has held various positions in New Delhi and abroad. He has extensive experience in dealing with multilateral issues. Prior to assuming his current responsibilities, he served in the Ministry of External Affairs as Joint Secretary of Overseas Indian Affairs, overseeing migration and mobility, immigration policy, labor and manpower cooperation, skill development initiatives, and welfare and protection of overseas Indians related matters. Earlier, he has served as Consul General of India in Turkey and in permanent missions of India to the United Nations in New York. Thank you, sir, for your message. Now, can we please play the message from Manishi?
Namaskar. It's extremely heartening to know that SPIC MACAY Australia chapter is organizing an online concert on infinite mystery of sound by renowned virtuoso Ustad Bahauddin Dagar. Indeed, it's an honor and privilege for the consulate to join the concert by the leading maestro of Rudra Veena. I would like to compliment you for the sterling work you do in promoting Indian classical arts and music in India and abroad. You provide a big platform to the young artists also. In Australia, as we all know, our diaspora is a living bridge connecting our two countries. Your efforts provide a platform to our budding artists, as well as enrich the cultural mosaic of this beautiful country. I am confident that today's concert will be a big encouragement to all our artists, the music lovers, the Indian Australian community, as well as our Australian friends. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for your encouraging message. Next, we have with us Mr. Girish Singh Kaviaji, who's the Consul General at Consulate General of India in Melbourne. I would like to personally thank Girishji for being very supportive throughout the planning of this event. You have been most helpful in organizing and collaborating this event with SPIC MACAY Australia chapter. Before I request Girishji to speak, I would like to give a short introduction. During his career spanning over 2 decades, Mr. Girish Singh Kavia has served in different capacities at the Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi, as well as in Indian diplomatic missions in Germany, Ukraine, France, Pakistan, and the current one at Melbourne, Australia. His diplomatic assignments include administrative and diplomatic work covering establishment, financial, commercial, and protocol desks in Indian missions and posts. His stints at Permanent Delegation of India to UNESCO, Paris, as well as the High Commission of India, Islamabad, are particularly noteworthy. At Melbourne, he is looking after commerce, press, information, culture, political, and educational portfolios. Thank you so much for Girishji for being with us here. Now, could I request you to speak a few words?
Thank you, Vedashriji. Before proceeding ahead, please allow me to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land where I speak from and give my respect to the elders past, present, and emerging. Well, what a lively music evening and the interesting question and answer session we all have witnessed today. To our utmost delight and true to the theme of the event, unraveling the infinite mystery of the sound, we have just been treated to an exemplary performance by Ustad Bahauddin Dagarji through a special category of Veena instrument, the Rudra Veena, which has an ancient history and whose origins are considered to be mythological. Besides, he practices this instrument in the genre Drupad, which is again one of the oldest living vocal traditions of India and which traces its roots to the Samved. Through his elaborated discourse, we have been fortunate to gain knowledge on Rudra Veena and the tradition behind it. Recipient of several prestigious awards like the Sangeet Natak Akademi Award and the Rashtriya Kumar Gandharv Samman, Ustad Bahauddin Dagarji, born into the illustrious Dagar family of Drupad musicians in 1970, first began his foray into Indian classical music at a very early age of 7, training on the sitar under the expert tutelage of his mother, Srimati Pramila Dagar. He was later introduced to the Rudra Veena by his father, Ustad Zia Muhyiddin Dagar. He has played for diverse, varied audiences in India and across the world. I'm sure that this performance of Ustadji should have been very entertaining to all the attendees present here, and at the same time, very educating and inspiring for the scores of music students following this event. The performances rendered by the local music, I would like to present my sincere thanks to His Excellency Sir Manpreet Vohra, Honorable High Commissioner of India to Australia, for his kind opening remarks and setting the tone for the event, and to the speeches given by other distinguished guests. A big thank to SPIC MACAY Australia team for all the hard work it has put in, and in the process accomplishing this brilliant event, which has been organized in collaboration with the High Commission of India, Canberra, the Consulates General of India, Melbourne and Sydney, and the Ministry of Culture of the Government of India. A big thanks to Ms. Vedashri to all her sustained efforts amidst challenges posed by COVID pandemic. She has been in constant touch with us for tying up for the various aspects of this event. The program has got delayed due to the pandemic. Kudos again to the entire SPIC MACAY team behind this very, very successful event. As you all know, SPIC MACAY, founded in 1977, has been doing an extraordinary service to the Indian culture through its non-profit, voluntary, non-political and participatory student movement with a worldwide network of schools, colleges, and educational institutions. It is believed that every year, SPIC MACAY has been arranging more than 5,000 programs in more than 1,500 institutions across almost 1,000 cities, touching over 3 million students, which is not a small feat in any case. SPIC MACAY celebrates Nishkam Seva, the spirit of voluntarism, of giving selflessly without expectation, a value that is intrinsic to our culture and important to nurture in today's world. May it continue with the zeal and enthusiasm. Thanks to all the collaborators and sponsors here, starting with Sharda.org, Melbourne Hindustani Classical Music Society, Sindhu Bhairavi, First Step Loans, and Able Accounting and Taxation Services, who have all contributed in their own ways to make this event a memorable one. The event could not have come in a better year than 2021, when India has entered its 75th year of independence. This event is an important constituent of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, India at 75. More so, we are already around the festive season of Diwali. May I greet you all happy Diwali in advance. Once again, thank you one and all for attending this event. Namaskar.
Thank you, Girish, once again for all of your support and for joining us live tonight. We really appreciate that. Thank you. For the last section of the event, I would like to invite Tapasya from SPIC MACAY Australia team. You're on mute, Tapasya.
Namaskaram, everyone. It has been an enthralling evening indeed, listening to the mesmerizing recital of Rag Puriya by Ustadji. Thank you, Ustadji, for this beautiful performance. I would like to extend my thanks to all the accompanying artists, Pratap Awadji on Pakhavaj, Ipsita Bichkarji, and Kunal Joshiji on Tanpura. I would like to take this opportunity to thank our High Commissioner, Mr. Manpreet Voraji, Consulate General Melbourne, Mr. Rajkumarji, Consulate General Sydney, Mr. Manish Guptaji. Thank you for your support in helping us promote the event to the wider Indian community across Australia. I would like to thank all our generous sponsors. Your support and understanding is much appreciated as we endeavor to preserve our rich heritage and culture. I would like to thank our radio partners, SBS Hindi Radio, Geetanjali Radio, and Tune India Radio. I would also like to thank our lovely team of volunteers from SPIC MACAY Australia and the National Executive Team for their endless support. Without each of your effort and inputs, this program would not be possible. We endeavor to bring to you the dying art forms such as Rudra Veena, which we presented to you today, to our younger generation, these hidden gems of our tradition, and you can help us encourage these younger generation to keep the tradition alive and thriving. Last but most importantly, I would like to thank our wonderful audience. Your encouragement and enthusiasm keeps us motivated to introduce many such exemplary art forms and legendary artists. We look forward to your continuous support in promoting our traditional arts, music, and culture within the vibrant Indian diaspora. I would like to request respected High Commissioner, Consulate Generals for their continuous support in introducing us to various educational institutes in Australia. Year 2022 being the 75th year of the Indian independence, And as guided by our Indian Honorable Prime Minister, various programs are being planned within SPIC MACAY APAC for the rest of the 2021 and 2022. We are pleased to announce that we would be screening the Oscar-winning movie Gandhi, which will be followed by a discussion session on 30th January 2022. We also, in the coming year, bring to you a rare dance form, Kudiyattam. So please keep a lookout. And so with hope and in anticipation of your continuous support, I, Tapasya, thank you all again. Thank you for joining us tonight once again. We will see you soon. Stay safe. Thank you.